Hey everybody, how's it going? Thiago here, and welcome to another episode of the podcast. Happy Sunday. How have you been? Hope you're doing well. In case you're new here, I've created this podcast and this YouTube channel to help intermediate and advanced learners of English communicate with more confidence, more accuracy, more clarity, and of course, more awareness. If this sounds like something you want for yourself and your English, subscribe to the channel, and if you are on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, follow the show so you don't miss a single new episode. Today, we are learning English with another story. Yes, we have another story to read together today, and I have some cool vocabulary to point out. Before I start, though, let me remind you that my newest pronunciation course is already available. It's out on pre-sale. This is a course that I created with the intent of helping you understand the main connected speech patterns of the English language that native speakers use in media and in real life, and also to help you speak English with better pronunciation, better clarity, better flow, okay? The course is available on pre-sale at a very special discounted price. The link for you to learn more about the course is in the description of the video. If you are on Apple or Spotify, it's in the show notes. And also on YouTube, I'm going to leave a pinned comment in the comment section with the link to the page. You can go there, read more information about the course, how it works, how it is structured, and if it makes sense to you, you can buy it at a very special price to improve your English pronunciation, okay? So guys, the story that I have for us to read today on this fine Sunday is about a cop. It's about a police officer, and the story is called Frank's Last Case. The vocabulary level in the story mostly is B2 level, I would say, with some C1 words. So this story has slightly more advanced vocabulary, so I'm sure that you will get to learn at least a few more advanced words today, okay? I'm going to read this story for you first, so just chill, relax, close your eyes if you want to, just enjoy. And then after reading the story, I'm going to point out here some nice vocabulary that I found from the story. Again, I took this story from the British Council website. It's a wonderful website. They have a lot of free stories there for English learners. And I'm going to leave the link to the story also in the description of the video, in the show notes, in case you want to go there and have the PDF available for you to download. Okay? Let me read the little, let's say, synopsis for the story. Check it out. Sergeant Frank Spike is not a successful police officer, but he has a nose for crime. Will his last case change his luck? Interesting. Let's get started here. So now it's story time. Listen and enjoy. I'm going to do my best to perform the story again, and let's get started. Ready. Okay. Sergeant Frank Spike sat behind his desk and stared out of the window. Outside, a steady stream of traffic passed by, each car moving slowly in the cold, gray rain. Frank looked down at the gray hairs on his arms and his round stomach, which pushed against the desk. This was his final month before he retired from the police. And, for Frank, retirement couldn't come soon enough. Frank frowned as he considered the terrible retirement package he had been given. It was barely enough money to take a short holiday on the cold and rainy east coast of England, where he lived. There was no way he could afford the round-the-world luxury cruise he had always dreamed of. Just as Frank was sighing heavily, Inspector Spencer came up to his desk with his perfect white teeth and enthusiastic smile. 3 years earlier, Spencer had been promoted. Now he had the position of inspector at the young age of 40. Frank, in comparison, had worked for the police for 40 years and been passed over for promotion 3 times. It was true he had neither the looks nor charm of Spencer. Sorry, Inspector Spencer, But the younger man didn't have Frank's nose for crime. That nose meant Frank could get inside the mind of the criminal and solve the trickiest of cases. As a result, the younger man often asked for Frank's help. In fact, it was pretty much the only time Spencer spoke to him. "Hey Frank, do you mind if I ask your advice about something?" Unsurprised, Frank nodded. "Have you heard of the Babingtons?" Everyone had heard of the Babingtons. Ronald Babington was the millionaire owner of Babington Oil, and his wife Tabitha was a model. Together, they enjoyed nothing more than showing off how rich they were. They often appeared in magazines like Hello with their gorgeous house and collection of sports cars. Most recently, they had invited the press to take photographs of the enormous diamond Ronald had bought for his bride. Under the protection of a sophisticated alarm system, the diamond sat in a large gold and glass case. The case stood at the end of a long, red carpet. Spencer paused for a dramatic effect, then explained, "We've had some secret information about a plan to steal the Babington diamond." Frank raised his eyebrows in an attempt to look suitably impressed. Peggy, the owner of the Dog and Duck pub, heard a couple of local criminals talking about it. She's asked that we keep her identity secret, of course, but our officers have made some discreet inquiries that seem to confirm what Peggy says. Frank nodded again and waited for the inevitable question. "So?" Spencer asked. "What do you think is the best thing to do? After all, it's only a rumor. We've got nothing concrete to arrest them on." Frank looked thoughtfully out of the window. He remembered his retirement money. He didn't want to be alone in his retirement, but the money wouldn't even be enough to buy a cat to keep him company. The sound of a car horn brought him back to the case. He put his fingers together under his chin to look as if he was thinking deeply, which he was, but not quite in the direction Inspector Spencer expected. "Listen, do this the clever way," said Frank, leaning towards the younger officer. "What you need to do is let them commit the crime. If you catch them red-handed, you've got all the evidence you need, no problem." "But Frank," said Spencer, "we need the approval of the Babington family. And there are laws about tricking criminals like that, you know? That's why you let them commit the crime. Then, apparently by chance, stop them for speeding as they escape the crime scene. You search the car to find the diamond, and you've caught them red-handed. Plus, the owner of the pub is protected, and you have all the evidence you need." Okay. Spencer was uncomfortable with the methods Frank was suggesting, but he couldn't deny the plan would work. Frank continued, "Of course, you need to ensure the arresting officer is someone you know is reliable." Spencer understood immediately. "Are you sure you want to do it, Frank? It could be dangerous. I'll make sure I'm with a couple of tough young officers, but yes, of course I want to do it." "Why?" asked Spencer. "You're just about to retire. Don't you want to take it easy?" "That's exactly why I want to do it," Frank replied. "My last case will be my final chance for glory." A few days later, Frank went into the Dog and Duck pub after work. "Did you get it?" he asked Peggy as she handed him his drink. "Yes, I am now the proud owner of a perfect replica Babington diamond," she said. "I told the glassmaker I was a huge fan of the Babingtons and that my mean boyfriend wouldn't buy me a diamond of my own." "You need a new boyfriend," said Frank. "If I were your boyfriend, I'd buy you a diamond ring and take you on a long, luxury cruise if I had the chance." "Oh, really?" she said and smiled. Frank was sitting in the back seat of the police car, which was hidden on the road through the woods to the Babington mansion. In the front seats were two young officers who were strong and reliable. At 11:30, a message had come in on the police radio. The burglars had met outside the Dog and Duck pub. At 11:37, The young man started the car and left the pub. In the passenger seat was a tall, athletic woman. At midnight, the pair passed the hidden police car on their way to the mansion. At 12:13, the woman threw heavy ropes over one of the mansion's garden walls. A second hidden police team watched her climb over, while the man waited in the car. At 12:20, the woman reappeared at the top of the wall with an excited smile on her face. She climbed quickly down the rope before pulling it down with her and running back to the car. Smiling in triumph, the man waited for her to jump in and then sped off in the car. At 12:23, the thieves passed Frank's car. The young police officer in the driver's seat immediately switched on the flashing blue lights and followed them. Inside the car, the thieves panicked. "What are they doing here?" the man shouted. "I thought you said you turned off the alarms." "Relax, I did," she replied. "They couldn't have got here this fast anyway. They're just traffic police. Just keep calm and act normally, and we can walk away from this with the diamond." The man slowed down their car to a stop and pressed the button that lowered his window. "Is there a problem, officer?" he asked, his face shiny with nervous sweat. "You were speeding. We'll need to give you a ticket. Can you both get out of the car, please?" The man still looked nervous, while one officer wrote out the speeding ticket and the other stood by, ready to get involved if things turned nasty. Frank began thoroughly searching the car. "Hey, what's he searching the car for?" the woman said. But she knew the game was over. Frank breathed heavily as he knelt down and started lifting up the rubber mats underneath the seats. His hand felt something smooth, hard and cold under the front passenger car seat. The Babington diamond. He took the diamond and put it in his jacket pocket. At the same time, with his other hand, he took a very similar object out of his trouser pocket. He held it up. "Okay, you two," he said. "You are under arrest for robbery." While the young police officers arrested and handcuffed the criminals, Frank held the evidence up for everyone to admire. It shone rainbow colors as it caught the light from the moon. The two officers sighed in appreciation. "I've never seen a real diamond up close," said one. "Imagine someone giving you that as a present," said the other. "Just imagine," Frank agreed. He carefully put it into an evidence bag. Half an hour later, back at the station, he handed it over to Spencer. Spencer took it from him carefully, as if he was a newborn baby. 5 weeks later, Frank was sitting in his new luxury massage chair and drinking a glass of the finest champagne. His expensive new cat rubbed her tail around his legs, and he reached down to stroke her. With a satisfied sigh, he leaned over and picked up the local newspaper. The two burglars had got 6 years in prison. The accompanying photo was of the Babingtons happily showing off the diamond inside its new, extra-thick glass case. Frank looked closely at the photo of the diamond. Only a jewelry expert would spot anything strange about the Babington diamond. And even then, only if they saw the stone up close. Frank put the newspaper down and picked up one of the travel magazines on his beautiful new coffee table. "Peggy," he said, "would you like to go to the Bahamas or the Maldives?" Peggy put down her own champagne glass, a small diamond ring on her finger shining in the light. "Why not both?" she smiled. "I did promise you a long cruise," he said. "You did," she replied. "I'm so glad I called you first when I heard them talking about that robbery." "Me too, Peggy," he said. "Me too." Retirement was turning out to be a wonderful thing, after all. The end. You see what happened here? So in the end, Frank, the police officer who was about to retire, actually stole the diamond himself. so he could have the retirement he wanted. Guys, this is just a story, okay? Hopefully this doesn't happen in real life. But you see what happened here? Look at that. Interesting, right? So, I want to point out here before closing the video some nice vocabulary, okay? Look at this phrase. Frank frowned as he considered the terrible retirement package he had been given. When you frown, you do this with your face. You see my eyebrows? I look angry or I look upset. Okay? So I'm frowning right now. So when Frank considered how much money he was going to get out of retirement, he frowned like, that's just too little. Okay? Check this out. It was barely enough money to take a short holiday. Barely. Something barely is like almost doesn't work out. So it was barely enough money. Like, it was just enough money to take a short holiday in his own city where he had lived for the past 40 years. So it wasn't a lot of money. Just as Frank was sighing heavily, when you sigh, you do this. This movement with air. It's like, you see, I'm sighing now. Usually we sigh because we are disappointed, because we are tired. We go, this is sighing. It was true he had neither the looks nor charm of Spencer. This is a really nice construction. In other words here, Frank didn't have the looks and he didn't have the charm of Spencer. But you see how we are using the structure here? He had neither the looks nor charm of Spencer. So when you talk about two possibilities or two options, and both are negative, you can use this construction. Neither this one nor that one. This is a more advanced formal structure. Okay? Together, they enjoyed nothing more than showing off how rich they were. When you show off, you display how cool you are. You show how cool you are, how much money you have, the cars you have in your own garage. You show off to people. You want people to see how amazing you are. This is usually a bad thing, okay? Nobody likes people who show off, okay? So if you show off, it's like you are showing yourself, believing that you are superior in any way, all right? So it's not a good thing to do that. But our officers have made some discreet inquiries that seem to confirm what Peggy says. Something discreet is something low-key. It's discreet. It's not so evident. Okay, it's kind of behind the scenes, not so obvious. And inquiries, questions. Okay, so when you make inquiries about something, you ask questions about it. Okay? If you catch them red-handed, you've got all the evidence you need. Nice expression. When you catch someone red-handed, you catch the person right in the act. You catch the person doing something wrong or illegal. Okay? So if you see the person robbing or stealing something, this is an example of catching that person red-handed because, gotcha. I saw what you're doing here. Okay? The burglars had met outside the Dog and Duck pub. This is a nice past perfect construction because the story happens in the past, right? So the burglars had met outside the Dog and Duck pub before an initial point in the past. They met outside the pub. The past perfect is often called the past of the past or the super past. First, something happened. But then something else had happened. before that first thing that happened. So past perfect is often used in combination with past simple, okay? Smiling in triumph, the man waited for her to jump in and then sped off in the car. I love this phrase, smiling in triumph. Triumph, victory. When you are triumphant, you are victorious. You are a winner, okay? So the robber, one of the robbers who was in the car, when he saw the woman coming back with the diamond, he smiled in triumph, like, yes, we got the diamond, okay? But it's a very nice word, triumph, or to be triumphant, to be victorious. And then the woman got into the car, and the man sped off in the car. Sped is the past of speed, okay? So to speed off is to run away by car, usually in a fast manner, right? So the man sped off in the car with the diamond and the woman. And finally, while one officer wrote out the speeding ticket and the other stood by, ready to get involved if things turned nasty, Frank began thoroughly searching the car. We have some nice words here. Yeah, so first of all, a speeding ticket is a ticket you get from the police officer if you are driving too fast. If you're driving too fast, especially in the US, for example, or in other countries, the police ask you to stop on the side of the road, and then if you really were driving too fast, you get a speeding ticket, okay? The other man stood by, ready to get involved. Stood by is the past of stand by. When you stand by, you are there just in case. You know, you are there still kind of prepared in case something happens. So there was one police officer writing out the ticket and the other standing by, just in case. So he was ready to get involved if things turned nasty. When things turn nasty, things become worse, okay? The situation gets really bad real quickly. For example, imagine maybe the couple of robbers trying to escape. That could be an example of things turning nasty, and then the other police officer would have to intervene, okay? And then Frank began thoroughly searching the car. I love this word, thoroughly, or thorough, thoroughly, okay? The word is thorough, thorough. When you are thorough about something, you are very meticulous, very detailed. You pay attention to the minor details, okay? So Frank was thoroughly searching the car. He was searching the car for the diamond with extra care and attention, looking everywhere. So when you do something thoroughly, you do it paying attention to the minimum details. All right? Guys, that's it. I hope you enjoyed listening to the story about this corrupt cop. Yeah? And I hope you enjoyed learning some vocabulary with it. Again, I'm going to leave the link to the story in the description of the video and in the show notes so that, you can download the PDF there on the website for free. And maybe you can look up the meaning of other words from the story that I didn't explain here. Okay? Don't forget to check out my new pronunciation course available on pre-sale. It's going to revolutionize the way you think about English listening and English speaking. I guarantee that. Okay? It's available at a very special discounted price, so check it out. Link in the description, in the pinned comments, and also in the show notes if you are on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Finally, keep supporting the channel by subscribing. First, if you're not a subscriber, subscribe and share the channel with people you know who might be interested in taking their English to the next level. All right? If you are on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, leave me a 5-star review on those platforms because that helps me a lot on those platforms as well. Guys, I'm signing off. Thank you so much and have a great day. I'll be talking to you very soon in the upcoming video. See ya.